Welcome to Have a Drink, the show where you learn along with us about the glorious drink called beer. I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier.
I'm Christopher Walker.
And I'm Casey Price.
Yep, everyone's feeling great. No one feels bad at all, and we're ready to do a show.
We weren't sitting around in awkward silence through the entire pre-show because some of us are just like, no, I wish for death's sweet embrace.
No, I cannot admit to myself that I do not feel good right now.
Because that means you've got a problem.
I'm gonna say, well, then this episode's gonna be a lot more depressing.
Yeah, so we were out last night at the Alltech Craft Brews and Food, and had a bit much.
Alltech, bringer of Kentucky Ale, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale.
Yep.
And
Kentucky Vanilla Cream Ale.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually good, yeah.
That was delicious.
I'm not a huge fan of a lot of their stuff, unfortunately, but yeah, that one was pretty good. There's like maybe one or two others.
They're not. I'm not saying they're like my favorite place, but
yeah,
they do okay.
But the festival was great.
Before we dive into that, though,
yeah,
let's do a couple announcements.
Right, did you want to start that?
All right. If you're going to be at Nerdtacular in Salt Lake City on June 20th.
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
Independence Day weekend, we are going to be hanging out there. Hit us up on social media or the show email and let us know you're going to be there, and we will drop some details on you, what's going to be happening. We'll also be that Sunday, for even if you're not going to Nerdtacular, but you could make it out to Salt Lake. That Sunday, we're going to be spending all day roaming around town. So there's a couple breweries actually opened on a Sunday in Salt Lake that we are going to be hitting up. And then we'll all just be out getting food and hanging out, doing whatever.
And it's July 2nd. You told me to put the date in there, and you didn't even say the date. It's July 2nd. It's that Sunday.
Well, let's do what we came here to do first off.
Drink lots of water.
Sure. I know you all probably aren't as eager to get into these, but first beer up.
I am excited to try them, to be fair. It's just,
some great labels.
It's been a long weekend.
All right, so Holy Moses White Ale, flavored as Belgian wheat ale, spiced with orange peel, chamomile, and coriander. Chamomile's a little odd to have in there. Alcohol by volume, 5.4%, 20 IBUs.
Nice color.
Maybe we are having a tea.
Chamomile.
So there's that label. I love it.
You can kind of see it.
Yeah, it just kind of blurs out.
Really pale straw color.
Yeah.
Light, just slightly cloudy on my end. Just a little bit of haze.
If you want a better picture of that Great Lakes label,
yeah,
got over here for you.
It smells like a Belgian wet.
It does. And nice, clean, citrusy.
It's got a little bit of that. Am I thinking buttery or am I thinking gummy?
Gummy, probably.
Gummy, yeah.
Yeah, I get gummy.
Not like I lost my chompers kind of gummy, but like the chewing gum that I don't use.
Yep. Straight traditional Bazooka Joe bubblegum.
Oh, wow.
Bazooka Your Joe.
I like it.
Yeah. A little bit of haze. That's good, though. Nice fluffy head on there. Sticks around for a little bit until it kind of dissipates away, leaving only some lace around the glass edge.
Yeah, real nice lace.
I don't know. Tasty. I don't get the chamomile, that very heavy chamomile flavor.
Yeah, I don't get the chamomile at all, but a citrusy wit. That's really how this is hanging on me, and I like it.
See, I'm getting
It's
a little
dry.
bit of chamomile. That's strange.
Kind of a dry flavor. Maybe a little bit of a back bitterness from that chamomile that may have been steeped a little too long, something like that. Maybe some tannin action going on.
Freaking tannins.
Tannins. But yeah, I mean, I would probably drink this all summer long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this is this is actually like the perfect kind of, it's that, I don't know, it's the prototypical lawnmower beer
Hmm.
that you think about, but yeah, I feel it can fall into that category pretty easily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
5.5 ABV. I mean, you could have a few of these. Be okay.
This would have been better to start the morning off with when we were at brunch at Hopcat.
Yeah.
With I got their brunch menu item. It was a weird take on an eggs Benedict, and this would have actually been great to have with that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay, that'll segue us nice into this. Since that's what you had. We started our morning at Hopcat because when you're gonna drink all day, why not go to a renowned brew pub?
Hold on. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about what we did all weekend.
Yeah.
Real quick. Casey, what did you do this weekend?
This past weekend, so my wife graduated from nursing school, and so we had her a little party this past weekend. So we played some cards, and we basically
Just a regular old night playing Rook.
yeah, I let her take her day to drink because usually she's the one that takes me around.
Right.
So I let her. I was like, "Hey, it's your day. Drink as much as you want." She's a Jack and Coke person, so we got her some Jack and Coke. And then last night or yesterday afternoon, I threw together some really nice Jello shots.
See, I really wish when we had started this, he just said, "I made Jello shots. Now moving on."
How we did when we were talking when we first started the call, it was like, Casey, what did you actually do this week? He's like, I just made some Jello shots. We're like, so you're just sitting around bored? You're like, let's make some Jello shots.
I
Never
ended
know what a
up
college
with
party
a
will
large
break out.
amount of unflavored gelatin sitting around the house, and so I ordered some syringes, the
my
big
gosh.
like 2.5 ounce, what you would normally use for a feeding tube
Sure.
type syringes,
God.
and mixed up some really like high end cocktails. So I made a margarita with some good tequila in there.
When you say syringes, I just like to picture that scene in Pulp Fiction when
When
they
he
have
hits
to
her with the
give
adrenaline.
one
Oh.
shot to Mia Wallace, and so just ah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
That hurts
felt
to
like
think
that.
about.
That's how his Jello shots were ingested.
Only Jello, yeah, and about that large too, a little bit
Yeah,
larger.
and you shoved pure Jello into someone's heart.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it goes. We were looking at these because they're good. They're about as wide as my head is, and so I was looking at these thinking if you were doing butt chugging, these would probably be the best way to get it in there.
Sorry, what is that?
Butt chugging.
It's not endorsed by Have a Drink, but
Isn't it,
it's
though?
where you inject pure alcohol basically up your butt, and
Wow.
the mucous membranes there can absorb alcohol fairly quickly, and so you get drunk fairly quickly. And yeah, butt chugging.
Wow.
Or you can just
Okay.
pop the top off a beer and kind of squat over it a little bit. You want to lube that mouth and neck up, get it in there, and then you just do a handstand.
Sure.
I
Why
was gonna
not?
say you just shake up a bottle, get a friend to pop it for you while you just sit down.
Uh,
No, I like the visual
Here
of
you go.
having to do the handstand, and then you got to like do a couple push-ups while you're in the handstand to help get the gravity flow working.
I was like, get the blood moving too. Make that.
I'm just imagining at this point somebody doing throwing a couple Mentos up there, and then throwing a Bud Light upside down, some really
Oh,
carbonated
God.
beer.
jeez.
You can get a geyser going.
Oh.
But yeah,
That
so
rain's coming out the other end.
we did a Cosmo, Sex on the Beach, a melon ball, and a really good margarita, all in shot format.
Wow.
So it was good stuff. I think Jello shots always increase the alcohol flavor, but they were still pretty tasty.
All right.
Whenever when I think of like old roommates of mine trying to make Jello gummy bears.
Oh.
They let them soak in vodka overnight.
Yeah, never. Yeah, that doesn't
They
work out.
they made a alcoholic gummy, not gummy bears. One giant. They melded together.
Oh my
they
god.
soaked them as a batch.
Yeah,
Oh no, you
Because
can't
they're
do
really
that.
smart. Yeah.
I'm not making any assumptions about anyone's intelligence because none of us knew how to make them.
Yeah. Oh,
We were
geez.
young.
That's the way you go. But yeah, so that was that was pretty much the weekend, just hanging
Okay.
out there.
All right.
Well, the other three of us, as we said before, attended the Alltech Beer Festival, which we had a good time. Got way drunker than we did last year, probably because there were like 8 fewer people around to.
I didn't. Yeah, and I didn't do nearly as much water as I did the previous years. That may have.
No, like we brought last year. We brought snacks. We had waters. We had food while we were there. Like we paced ourselves. This year we were like, no, we have to drink everything. And
I think there was just too much. Like the special releases hit just perfectly for us to always be in line and finishing up something just before.
yeah,
Or having to like butt chug something while in line for something else, pretty much.
it
Well,
was
we
like,
don't talk
Just
about how
influences.
me and Chris had to do in the bathrooms.
but it was like, well, and then with the timing of everything, it was like, okay, well, these 3 are tapping at 1, and then these other 2 are tapping at like 1:30, and then it was really nuts. And then oddly enough, because I don't think this happened last year either, a lot of breweries that were there were out of their key items by like 6, and the event starts at noon. So it was strange.
Or some not showing up, or some.
Yeah.
Yeah,
having
23
what they-
Brewing was supposed to be there, and they were still on the build schedule. And we looked, and then we went to where the booth was supposed to be, and instead it was Central State Brewing.
Yeah.
So I guess they backed out last second.
Yeah, don't know what that was about, but
But so there were some crazy times that we're still trying to figure out for some of the beers. But as soon as we came in the door, it was Great Lakes was one of the first special taps with their barrel aged barley wine, which did not look like a barley. It looked like this
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah,
was a
as
little
a
bit
barrel
darker.
aged barley wine. It did not have those nice, ruby red hues and everything like you would expect.
Well, you can do that technically, I guess. If
Yeah, I
you-
mean, it tasted like a barley wine,
yeah,
but
Which is
just
it was
neat way.
technically correct. The best kind of correct.
yeah. So that was where we hit first, and I think they're putting us. We had to go by the photo booth before we got completely drunk. So
Yeah.
there's the picture of that, and the second beer we got because at 1:00 was Founders KBS. Like
Yeah.
right out of the gate.
It was like 1:00 was the release for KBS. That is stupid early.
Yeah.
Like that's normally like that's one of your prime time releases.
Mhm.
Put that mid afternoon, sometime when everyone's like ready and but no, this was right out of the gate.
Yeah, so that one, I believe it was like 2 or 3. We get mine tapped open. See, yeah, we started with the barrel-aged barley wine. I had a hazelnut brown nectar just because I wanted to slip by Rogue's booth and grab some swag. Then it was a KBS. Then slid over to New Belgium for Juicy Mandarina Voodoo Ranger.
It was okay.
I liked it.
For some reason, I just wasn't
I
impressed. I
skipped
don't know why.
Yeah, I believe that was one that I decided like no, I've got KBS still to finish. I'm not.
Yeah, I ended up just pounding the KBS that I had. So I was like, well, let's get this moving.
It seems to be the way it goes. You get a really good beer in your hand, and then this next one's get ready to tap, and so you've got to pound an amazing beer just to try to get through it in time.
Yeah.
You can't enjoy it at beer fest.
That happened a couple of
unfortunately.
times. Yeah.
So, what'd you think about this Holy Moses? Kind of wrapping up on it.
I liked it.
I liked
Good,
it.
clean, easy drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of the best things. If not, so far, it's the best thing I've had from Great Lakes. Actually, in my opinion, I would definitely drink that. A lot of that, for sure. Next up on the list, if you want to chug that down, and not through the buttocks.
Oh, come on,
Dude.
butt chugs.
I feel like it would go down easier in my right now. Go up easier, whichever direction it needs to go.
Lightkeeper Blonde Ale's the next one up on the list. So the flavor of this one is a glow with crisp hop aromas, an incandescent golden hue, and a smooth, navigable malt finish. So you're gonna see this is about like a
Wow, that is pale.
Budweiser pale color.
Yeah.
We're in there. Straw.
Oh wow.
Coming in at 6.6 ABV, so it'll get you drunk.
But not a Budweiser.
IBU's coming in at 30, so you're probably going to be able to taste a little bit of a difference between the last beer and this one. So I'm going to tip this up and start to smell. This has that characteristic ale beer flavor from craft brewers.
Gold ale.
It even kind of smells sort of like those Walmart beers, how they smelled. I'm hoping the flavor's better, but how they smelled, it reminds me of that.
Oh, really?
Almost identically. Yeah.
I'm not getting a lot of anything from the aroma. Is it just me?
I've got like a little bit of a, I don't want to call it citrusy.
I thought I was hitting citrus when I first got my nose in
No.
there.
No, I'm not getting citrus. I'm getting bad funk. Hitting feet.
Oh,
This makes me nervous.
I've smelled this before. I don't know where.
Oh, it definitely tastes better than it smells.
Well, that's encouraging.
I hate that though. When there's such a distinction.
It just
So yeah, this is. This hides the 6.6 ABV, I think.
Oh yeah.
It does a really good job of hiding the alcohol flavor. However, there's like not a whole lot of other flavor I'm picking up out of it.
No, the IBU of 30 comes through, and it's almost a little bit. For me, it's a little bit off-putting. This has a little bit of that Pilsner effect, where you got a light beer, but it's just really bitter at the end.
Yeah, there's definitely a bitterness. It is kind of crisp just on the initial taste.
Yeah.
But gosh, yeah, you get that right after. Like that finish is pretty bitter. Actually,
I'm getting bitter finish that like cascades off the sides of my tongue, and that it's just holding on the back. Like it feels like my tongue is sticking to the back of my throat.
But you know,
I'm gonna go with this one's not as good. And I like a lot of Great Lakes stuff. I don't care for this.
this bitterness makes you want to drink it again, though, because it kind of wants you to wash off that bitterness off your tongue.
it's funny.
Unfortunately, it's what put it there in the first place.
Like,
Yeah.
damn it! Why do I keep doing this?
Like, I like the flavor. I like everything except for that harsh bitterness.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not getting
otherwise,
a whole lot of flavor other than that harsh bitterness.
It's kind of I'm getting like a floral almost something. It's
Yeah.
hinting at citrusy, but not quite. It's not really citrusy, but there's something that's reminiscent.
Yeah. I got that for sure.
the floral thing makes sense. There's something that's standing out that I can't pinpoint what that is.
All right. Well,
What light beers did y'all have on yesterday that actually stuck
next thing
out?
I had on our list that I had anyway, we stopped by Sierra Nevada. I had the Tropical Torpedo.
oh
yeah.
yeah, that was
Oh.
really good. That was their their release for that. I was like that's not really a big release, but
No,
Whatever.
but it's the time for it. You know that style.
Yeah, no, that one I remember being really good.
And
I regret missing that one.
beyond that, I had one that because we mostly had the same things, but there was a few that, timing wise just didn't end up happening. When we all went to get food, speaking of the lighter beers, so I got a lobster roll from Clawdaddy's in Lexington.
Yes.
Yeah, but so I wanted to find a beer that would go well with it, and I got Goin' Coastal from Sweetwater, and that was really good. And that was a nice. It had like a pineapple kind of deal to it. It was very nice and refreshing. So there were definitely some lighter beers that we got.
They also, again, this is the Alltech food and beer.
oh
convention.
yes,
They did have some food there. Didn't go too heavy on some of the food. That said, I did got some place that's there every year, and they just do these special, I don't know how they make, but they're special popcorn that they've got.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And so they've got white cheddar, which is what I got. They've got, your caramel corn, which, all you sociopaths can enjoy.
It's deliciousness.
They have your Chicago mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
But
And then there were the nachos,
that's the real.
which had a line longer than any beer
What?
to get the
Yeah.
pulled pork. They were not the brisket nachos, the pulled pork nachos.
But still.
Previous years it had brisket just on top of nachos with cheese.
See, and I couldn't have the nachos, and I didn't want to stand in line, so I went to go get the lobster roll.
Instead, Chris got the nachos, which was pulled pork this year.
Oh no! Oh, the travesty.
However, will he overcome his loss? Maybe
Yeah.
he could fill the hole that left with nachos
And alcohol.
and alcohol.
Pretty much.
Before we'd gotten food.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say before we'd gotten food, we'd actually gone over to Southern Tier for this was again on the lighter side. They did their Imperial Cherry Gosa.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
An Imperial Gosa. I was just like, what the hell is that gonna be? Is that just gonna be like super tart? And it was.
But not.
I just now unpuckered.
But it wasn't off-putting.
You
It was actually
no,
really
I don't
good.
mean that in a bad way. I mean that in like the best possible. Like, you know what? I just OD'd on sweet tarts, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And the best thing, and we've mentioned it a few times when we were talking about it, but like there's such a risk on cherry flavor in anything of that
Yeah.
medicinal taste. It was not there at all. It was it was actually a really nice cherry flavor that's in, and it didn't taste. I'm sure it may have been artificial. I'm not sure how Southern Tier does their stuff, but
Didn't taste like Robitussin.
no, it was really really good. It was it was a really nice goza, and then the cherry was just like it was there and it wasn't overpowering, and it was a really nice. It was one of the first ones we got, I think. And it was a really nice way to start.
That was like midway.
And that actually had a line. Like, that was a crazy line for that one.
Yeah, didn't we get? No, that was not one of the ones where we were trendsetters on.
No, but that was one where while we were in line, we were passing by the town branch booth.
Oh, geez.
Casey, I got him to try the coffee infused.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was good.
They were
oh, my gosh.
for a ticket, you could get that. So
I spent 2 tickets to get them this.
and it was delicious.
Worth it.
Yeah. Very
Totally.
good.
And then we ran into my mom there, who was like, "Oh, I've had like 5."
We're like, she was working the booth and for one of the local breweries, and we're like, oh, are you able to drink anything while you're doing this? She's like, no. Like, but
She able to? Yes. Should she?
So ticket wise, was it like some of the previous ones where you had more tickets than you needed?
So
Oh, yeah.
yes and no.
that's the case, but it did not feel that way because for the first couple hours, all the booths were being very strict.
Yeah.
They were, they were just, you went to get a pour and they would like take your glass and they just look at you and look at the bucket, like, give me the ticket or I'm not pouring it.
Yeah.
And they did that for the first while. And then after, about 5 o'clock, everyone stopped caring. And then everyone's running around trying to give away their tickets. And
Yeah. It was such an odd event this year. The way,
I don't-
like, just the way how things were, they're timed. I think it was just it ended up being very strange. Like, the fact that there were still a good number of people there, but like, I wonder how many people really stayed till 8 or even later.
I
say
feel like
left
if we
early.
saw people who were just coming in to start, like at 5.
Yeah.
In fairness, that first year me and Casey went, it was like, what, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock when we went in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the stuff was gone. We got there just ahead of KBS. So,
Right. That was
Yeah.
I think our plan was to go in for the KBS at the earliest.
Gotcha.
yeah, and
It was a good plan.
it was the first time we ever had KBS, or I ever had it anyway.
I can't remember if I had it before or not.
well, one of the ones we were trendsetters on was the next one up.
Trend.
And this
That's what we
was
do.
at Lagunitas. And even the person at the booth just looked at us like we were dumb. When we started to walk, I was like, oh, is there a line? Because they were doing the Willet Whiskey Barrel Aged Imperial Stout.
Yeah,
This was one to get in line for.
that was good. It was very good.
And we walked. There were a few people just kind of hanging around the booth drinking. And I was like, "Oh, is there a line for the special tap yet?" And the one was just like, "No." And I was like, "Well, we'll start it right here." By the time I turned around from us getting in line, there were like 5 people behind us. They were all standing there like, "Oh, we just didn't want to be the first ones in line,"
We'll be those assholes.
and continued to be.
How early was it?
So that was a half hour before tapping.
Wow. Got your bourbon aficionados there too. So
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's kind of what
Also,
we figured was
also
going to
being
happen.
given out at a town branch booth was their the regular bourbon, their rye, and their just regular whiskey.
they did not have the rum.
Did not have the rum.
Sad day.
If they had the bourbon barrel aged rum, I'd have thrown all of my tickets down.
Yep. Just please here.
Just give me a bottle.
Just I needed that whole bottle. That's
For
not
sure.
enough tickets. I just start stealing them from other people. That is enough tickets. Just whatever it takes.
So at this point, this was actually the point where we went off to get something to eat. Because I had to look at the check-ins, and it reminded me, oh yeah, because Lagunitas and Bell's were right next to each other, the booths, and we did not just go back to back on the booths. We got the one, then we went and got food, and while we were getting food, Brittany had to go in Coastal, and I went and grabbed a Kentucky Vanilla Barrel Cream Ale.
Oh my god,
Who was that?
that's Alltech. You've had it.
Yeah, Alltech.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Beer floats would be.
Yeah, it was good. Oh,
Right.
oh, it was so good. And then we went back over to the Bell's booth.
Sorry.
Oh. So we went back over to the Bell's booth for the Traverse City Whiskey Barrel Aged Porter. Again, you got
It was still good. It was
Yeah,
still good, but
there
it
was
was
another
not
time when-
as good as the.
we were not
It's the
trendsetters
Lagunitas.
on this one. I think it was about midway in the line is where we ended up. Let's see.
It is.
It was
It
good.
is a line that I may have stood in line for. Maybe not. Just have to depend on the day.
It was good. We were getting some barrel age fatigue at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of dark stuff the whole time.
Thankfully, up next they had something else. But you know what? We should break into our next beer.
Yeah.
There we
Oh,
go.
We should. Let me.
I'm empty.
So
I'm empty because I didn't like that beer and I just got rid of it.
I was gonna say,
I
so
didn't finish it.
consensus on that one was just like meh.
Meh.
Matt
If they,
actively disliked.
Okay. Yeah.
if they reduced the IBUs or made even if it was the same IBU but made the hop more balanced, I think it would be a better beer.
Right.
But
I think it needed something else to give it a better flavor. Like it just didn't have any flavor to me.
Like more
Sure.
pronounced orange or something. You know what I mean? That would have been better.
Right.
That's unfortunate. I think that's one of the like. Granted, again, I haven't had a ton of Great Lakes stuff, but like that's one of the few I've had that I'm not a fan of. So
well, next up is Oat McDonald. A
I
pale
love
ale
the label.
that was a good Foley right there.
Yeah. Just pale ale. All right.
Pale ale. So we'll pour this one.
EIEIO.
Oats McDonald had a beer.
With creamy oats here and citrus nuts there, this smooth pale ale recalls the grain silos and rolling acres that line our Midwestern highways and byways.
That's got a really nice color to it.
yeah,
So yours looks darker than what mine does.
yeah, that's weird.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that might be a room lighting thing.
Room lighting or the depth of the distance the glass light has to go through the glass and all that. Flavor you should be able to pick up a fruity hop aroma, which roams free reign through the bountiful field of oats and golden malt. Really. So ABV
free ranging.
5.7%. IBUs coming in at 35.
You know
Yeah,
what?
let's get a little aroma.
There's a nice aroma on that.
Really carbonated, really foamy head. Sticks around for a while on mine.
This is
Oh,
interesting.
that is blow out some of that CO2 because it's like
Yeah.
stinging my nose. Okay, so yeah, that's like a dark stone fruit type, dark fruits, maybe some dried fruit aroma that I'm picking up through there. Um, I don't know. I'm not real fond of this. It's got that heavily caramelized aroma to it. Maybe some the malt that's put in here is the like an aromatic malt.
I think my nose is broke.
You don't smell. Yeah, I wasn't totally there either, but God, that's bitter.
I mean, it's a pale ale. It's what I expect, but still.
Yeah, maybe I'm ruined from
No.
the last one.
This is more like English style pale ale.
Yeah.
This, when I drink it, reminds me of when I first started having IPAs. This was exactly what I thought of all of them. I was just like, no, not a fan.
In fairness, when I think of Great Lakes, I don't think of their pale ales or IPAs. I think of like the Elliot Ness
The porters and stuff.
or
Oh, yeah.
well, Elliot Ness isn't porter, is it? It's
No.
their
LNS is an amber.
yeah.
They have a
This
big
beer-
porter though.
I absolutely hate this beer.
Yeah.
This is not
Don't
that
say
good.
that about too many. It's well made as far as like processes, but that hop flavor is horrible. And
Yeah.
whatever they do, whatever hop it is that's doing that hop flavor, just scrap it. Get rid of it.
That hop is bad, and you should feel bad.
They use
Yes.
ass hops.
This is bad. Like that hop flavor is bad for me.
All right, well, let's get into some of the other beers we had. Justin, I think you were getting ready to talk about one that we all really enjoyed.
Oh yeah. We made some time to run by the Mount Carmel booth for its special release, the mango hops and wheat ale.
Oh,
Yeah, this actually was really, really good. I don't even like mango that much, but it was.
The aroma that came off of that thing, it was just like you cut into a fresh mango.
The mango with the wheat was perfect.
oh yeah. I could taste. I mean, I could tell that would be good.
So that was great and refreshing. And this, we're coming near the end of all this, so it was really nice after having all that barrel aged stuff. That may have been also why we were just like, oh, it's so fruity and fresh.
Yeah.
Really helped the palate out because we just dove down the barrels after that. Like the rest of them.
So would this make the second or third year since El Coco?
This is year 3 since El Coco.
Yeah.
And that is the thing I find at some of these, like, because a lot of the special releases are these barrel aged, something or other,
Right.
One-offs.
and then you find someone that's just made this weird thing as their special release, and you're like, yeah, okay, sure. Ah,
Uh-huh.
and it's so different from everything else that you've had that it blows your mind.
I think that's a topic we should probably touch on a little bit is how do you plan what you're going to bring to a beer fest if you're a brewery?
Yeah, really.
Like, do you bring, because there's so many different, this makes me want to pull up an article here. So there's so many different types of people at a beer fest. And how do you go out there and try to please all of them? So Thrillist says there's 19 people you'll see at every beer fest. I could see that for sure. First off on the list, there's the guy who's a little too excited about his pretzel necklace.
Oh,
Yeah.
There were a lot of those.
Saw him early in the day.
Yeah.
The people hyping a brewery that doesn't even exist yet.
Oh, I remember this article. This is the best. Yes.
Yeah. The one-upper, the guy who never learned to walk in a crowd. Blocking traffic flow. I'm sure you had a bunch of those.
There are like 12 of those.
Well, we had the
people,
guy
like,
who got
just-
into a knockdown fist fight with
Oh
3
my
security
gosh!
guards.
Yeah, we saw somebody just
Ooh.
get taken down.
And they put him down. He was being asked to leave. Like, they were just flat out going to eject him. And then he went at them. And I was like, he went from getting ejected to he's going to jail.
he gelid.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you're in this article.
Oh, I am?
The guy who knows he's got the best beard in the whole place.
I mean,
Yeah.
Says it's magnificent yet fully restrained, robust, meticulously groomed, imposing. Go ahead and stare, bask in its glory as you note the quiet confidence in his face. This man knows things. This man has seen things. Here you go. This man has a 4.8 rating as an Uber driver.
not
Up
there
until
yet.
the Uber driver, they were nailing it.
Oh.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, we had good Lyft drivers. Like, this is the first time, like, the to and fro. Like, no, guys were awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So yeah, that beer was meh. I don't know. Oates McDonald can keep his farm.
Seriously,
E-I-E-I-O.
I actually
No,
think I
EI.
like
EI, no.
No.
I like this one less than the one before it. Is that weird?
No. I agree.
I reserve the same spot for both of them, I think.
I mean,
Maybe
they're both
we
not
fit
great.
1, 2, 3 as 1, 2, 3 of this list.
Yeah, pretty much.
I actually put a little bit of number 1 back in my glass because I was like, let's rinse that out.
No, yeah, it's odd too. The start off, the Holy Moses was pretty great actually.
Like, in comparison, it's like, wow, that one's really good.
So
Yeah, it's weird to start out your list. You start out your sampler with the best beer.
Yeah.
And that, well, I guess that goes back to what I guess I was trying to go for whenever I got distracted. But what do you do if you're a brewery? What do you do about beer that you're bringing to a beer fest? Because it's your job to promote your beer the best way possible. Do you bring your tried and true? Do you bring? I mean, these guys have what, 4 taps total? Or
3.
No,
Yeah,
three.
this year's 3.
two
3 taps.
2 all day taps and then
One special.
one special.
Unless
release.
you were a sponsor, and then they had, like,
Yeah, but
8 taps. Goose Island had, seriously, like,
Oh, yeah.
8 taps.
so did New Belgium.
Okay, we're gonna get there by the end, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump right to the Goose Island thing. Everything tastes like metal.
Yeah. No.
So,
we got another one of theirs. and
yeah,
yeah.
this was, and then there were 2. By this point, Brittany was done. She had to go, like, lay in a corner.
I was not well. I
And
was
me and
not doing
Justin got in line 45 minutes early because I was like, there's going to be a giant line for this. It was Cooper's Project #1, their barrel-aged Scotch ale. I was like, people are going to be dying for this. I was like, I've been wanting to try it. I can't find it. Like, I didn't see it hit shelves anywhere near us. I was like, I'm assuming it'll be the same around here, so people are going to be really wanting to try it. Yeah, we were the only people there for like a half an hour waiting. Like, about 15 minutes before it was going to launch, a couple other people showed up. And then right when it was going to launch, a whole mass of people showed up and just tried to, like, cut. Like, they just all walked right up, and I had to go, oh. I was like, are you getting the Cooper's Project? And they're like, oh, yeah. And I was like, we've been here for 45 minutes. I was like, even though there were only 4 of us there, I was like, we've been here for a while, so you're at least going to wait.
Yeah, and that was, I think, where I stopped. 'Cause
Tapped out there.
No. We had a few others that you were in on. We'll get there. Yeah, the Cooper's Project #1 that was the most disappointing beer I had all day. Just, you remember when we did the Goose Flight Pack, how everything had that metallic filtered taste? This even had that.
Yeah.
And it was,
Sorry, we were mentioning like trying to bring your A game and then mentioning sponsors, and I was just like, oh yeah, Goose Island.
Stop it.
yeah, they had 2 specials. The other one was Sophie, I think.
Yeah, they had
2 of
Sophie there.
They had 2 of the Sour Sisters there.
So
had to make it
sours-
short to go something else.
The sours, I liked their sours 3 years ago. I haven't had them since probably the 2015 vintage was where I really stopped drinking their sours. So I don't know if they've picked up that same flavor in the past few years, but I liked it back then. I just don't know about now.
I would
Okay.
assume it's not changed, but I hadn't had the sours then to compare. Sours did have a fairly large presence at the fest.
Yeah.
It was almost equal with the barrel aged, like the big stouts and
Yeah,
porters.
definitely.
So you did see that creeping up.
You had the goses and then the few just like wild ales actually. I think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was odd. It was a good balance, but yeah, the I think there was just the two. I want to say it was just the two breweries that had like basically two of the sets of the normal taps. So like Goose Island and New Belgium had like took up like half a thing basically. They have two different sets of taps areas
Because they were sponsors.
And Sweetwater. Sweetwater's the third one. Never mind. Sweetwater had a bunch of stuff there too, which was actually like all of Sweetwater stuff was on point. I think. Yeah, because I was thinking. So what you're talking about, Casey? Like, what do you bring? Like, I was thinking about some of the stuff that, like when Braxton was there, they just had the normal like the three that most people had, and two were so they did the revamp, which was the new standard IPA that they have, and that took over from Crankshaft, and then what was the other one?
They had their seasonal summer trip.
Summer Trip. Okay, yeah, Summer Trip. Like both very light beers, and then their special was, of course, the Graders one that they did, the ice cream,
Yes.
chocolate raspberry thing.
Which had a massive line.
And it hit this area like a wrecking ball.
Yeah,
Like when they released it, for sale. There's so many of them in Liquor Barn when that release day happened.
oh, I'm sure.
Come back a week or so later, hard to find them.
I mean,
So I
yeah.
think that's appropriate. That's an appropriate setup. So it's not nowadays. Now, I don't know. 5 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe it would have been appropriate to bring all your big imperial stouts and
yeah,
your KBS clones, for lack of a better comparison. Now, the mass public wants something different than that, and you don't want to be hitting these 12%ers imperial stouts all day long. And so now they're trying to mix it up by saying, "Oh, okay, well, it's an imperial." Bob sent me a message this past weekend. Was like, "It's this imperial rye barrel aged stout." So
yeah, I almost bought that.
they're looking for something different, something that's not the same old, and the adding chocolate and adding chilies isn't getting it anymore.
yeah.
You got to step it up a little bit.
Speaking of something different, there was a place that brought out Against the Grain. They brought out their rum barrel aged
God.
Bo and Luke.
It was so good. Oh my
It was an
god.
imperial double.
Yeah, so another barrel aged imperial stout, but it was rum barrel aged, and it was so smoky. I mean, it was like smoky bacon.
It tasted like liquid candied bacon, like in the best possible way. Like it was wonderful.
And this was when we had to start slamming the barrel aged stuff to move on because that wasn't in the program. We just happened we didn't even know Against the Grain was going to be there. I was like, hey, they have a booth. I was like, I didn't see them in the program. What's their special tap? And then we saw it.
Oh, hey, Tyler.
But we saw the special tap, and I was like, a rum barrel aged imperial stout. All right, I'm down. And they call it Bo and Luke because they're Against the Grain. But tapping at the same time was West 6.
They're just some good old boys. Never meaning no harm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we saw West 6 was doing Snakes in a Barrel.
So I think that was a bad choice on their end.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not indicative of what I think of from West 6th.
Yeah.
It was okay. So we had a really good, different barrel age. The rum barrel thing's kind of creeping in and becoming more mainstream. And we immediately had to go get in the line for the West 6 one. So we ended up they tapped it a couple minutes early. So we just had to pound down the Bo and Luke's. And it was just like, oh, God. And we just slammed them down, rinsed our glasses, and got up there and got the West 6. And then it was literally the next sip was the West 6. And it was just like, wow, this is just incredibly sweet and
Not the
just
same
kind
thing at
of
all. It
bland.
was very boozy. That one was boozy.
Yeah, high on the booziness. And it was just like, it forced us to really compare the two, and it was like, no, Against the Grain knocked theirs out of the park. It was really different than because we'd had a lot of barrel-aged stouts that day,
Yeah.
and theirs stood out from everything else.
The rum barrel thing does something
What,
different.
It's what rum does for you.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole
Alright.
different flavor that you're just not used to.
Yeah.
And as far as beer is concerned.
Speaking of something different,
Now for something completely different.
now something completely different than the first beer, which was the best.
Yeah.
Let's go to our last beer of the day.
That would have been the last beer, which was the worst.
Yeah, Tyler,
Yes,
if you're
so
wondering,
far.
Going.
this pack has not been a good one.
Yeah. It's sad.
Let's go to
We'll give a ranking about the
Yeah.
beers in there at the end.
Let's go to Hop by Numbers IPA. I see what they're trying to do here, but I don't know if I like the pun. Just call it an IPA.
Another nice label though. I still love their art.
So I do too. I like that. If you're going to call it Hop by Numbers, you got to have a label like that right there. Ooh, pours really dark.
Yeah,
It
not
does.
much of a head.
IPA. This is like red color, an Irish red color or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You look for aromatic tropical fruit accents and strokes of pine bitterness blend to highlight a bright amber palette. So I'm going to assume they put tropical fruit hops in here. Pine hops. It's going to be fairly bitter. Actually, IBU's at 80 and ABV's at 7.2, so very bitter. And amber beer malt type profile. So that's what it looks like, I guess.
It's, bitter in the nose.
Yeah.
Resiny.
Resin. Lots of resin.
I do not like this smell.
And
No.
it's, if you rock it in your glass, watch how the lacing, it just sticks to the side of the glass and like crawls down it.
Big old foam layer on top.
This smells like
So Casey, does this have the same sort of astringent hop flavor for you as it does for me?
It does to a certain extent. For me,
Like,
I'm
it's not-
thinking whatever hop they used in that last beer that was really astringent in Old McDonald's Pale Ale, they're probably using the same hop for bitterness all the way through, and they've used a really bad hop. This one has about 30 IBUs of bitterness with that old hop, and then they've used something else to make up the difference. That's what I'm tasting in it, at least.
Yeah, like there's
It's about as astringent, about as bad tasting as the Old McDonald, but the difference in IBUs, the 35 to 80 IBUs, is telling me they couldn't have used that bad hop for the entire bittering edition. Maybe they did, but
like this has been disappointing because I actually usually like some stuff from Great Lakes.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's again the first beer we had at the fest yesterday was their barley wine.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
Edmund Fitzgerald, always solid.
Which was
Elliot
the porter I
Ness.
was thinking of.
Yes.
so I type in Great Lakes and it takes me to my student loan payment place. Let's see. About right now, I have as much fondness for Great Lakes Brewing as I do for the student loan company.
based on this pack, yeah. So some beers we were actually fond of. Let's see. Out of yesterday, we were at Snakes in a Barrel from West 6. That was not a big crowd pleaser for us, despite that it developed a pretty decent line.
Also an example of something different that makes us happy. The Mexican lager from Sweetwater.
That was pretty good.
Another hit by Sweetwater.
Mhm.
Honestly. Yeah, I'm looking forward more so. Well, no, we thought the Sweetwater was going to be a good pack, but like it's got a weird number of beers in
Yeah,
it.
it's one of those ones where we'd have to buy 2 of them because there's
Yeah.
like 6 beers.
So that's unfortunate.
And then we followed up after the first because Sweetwater had 2 special releases, and that was the first one. Their second one ended up being our last of the night. But next we did the Cooper's Project.
Which we
From
talked
Sam
about and
Adams.
how it tastes like
That
metal.
we're getting to
Okay,
it.
sorry.
We keep jumping the order.
I don't remember when anything was at this point.
So we did the Cooper's Project, which we talked about. Tyler, you may have missed that. The Goose Island
Not good.
barrel-aged Scotch ale. It was not good. Just like
Aged in metal barrels.
yeah, apparently they just dumped it in kegs and let it sit around, and it leached the metal flavoring out. Next, though, we had something absolutely fantastic from Sam Adams. Who would have thought we'd like something from Sam Adams?
It was really good.
They were going to have two. This is again one of the breweries that canceled one of their special releases. They were going to have the 513 from Cincinnati on tap down there, but as soon as you walked in, it was like blacked out on the board.
Yeah.
Are you the 513? Yeah, you know me.
But instead, they were still rocking with a chai IPA.
Yeah, Casey, you would have liked that, I think.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
The spiciness of it would have been great.
It was wonderful. Very different.
I mean, lightly hopped, so the chai just stood out of everything else. It was amazing.
But it wasn't overly spicy either from the chai. It was a really nice ale just to have it. We didn't get a lot of their other stuff actually because they just had the normal stuff on tap otherwise, like the summer ale.
When you're blowing
Boston lager,
tickets, you're
yeah.
not getting a Boston lager.
Yeah, so they did have some nice swag though.
We got another disappointment. Heavy Seas was there, and they'd advertised they were going to have Blackbeard's Breakfast, which is one of my favorite beers.
Oh, yeah. It was not there.
And no, we walked up and saw the board, blacked out, and written in its place was Siren Noir, which is kind of similar, but it is not Blackbeard's Breakfast at all. So, after we had... what?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, after the Chai IPA blew me away, and we were getting in line for what was going to be the last special release for us, I was like, well, I want something else. There wasn't a line. I could see Heavy Seas from where we were. I was like, I'm going to go get some of the Siren Noir because I've got tickets and we're winding down, and why the hell not? Mm-hmm. So I just went ahead and got it. And it was just kind of meh. Again, a barrel-aged stouts. That was just all it was. And
So,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I did a little research here in the past 2-3 minutes on the hops that were in each of these beers. And so none of them really share the same hop makeup. This one's got Simcoe, Cascade, and the new Denali hop, which if you look at let me see if you can see it here. Well, the Denali hop is still in, they wrote the numbers in there. I think it's more of a marketing thing than what they are trying to do here. It's supposed to have more pineapple aroma. But the hop that is in that old Oats McDonald Pale Ale, it's only one hop through the entire beer. So the bittering, everything has to be the same hop, and it's called Jarilo. Now, stick with me here. Jarilo. GarYlo. So that hop, I went and looked it up.
Geritol.
Cohumulone is an alpha acid found in hops that in higher levels is pretty much believed to present a harsh, unpleasant bitterness and have a negative impact on head retention. This hop has 34 to 37% of its alpha acids are in cohumulone, which puts it above all except for probably the top maybe 6 or 7 hops out there on cohumulone. It's like in probably the top 5 of
Why wouldn't you
cohumulone
use it
levels.
then? You know?
That's a good question.
We lost a bet.
I feel like they did.
Well, they use it. I thought it was kind of familiar. It in one of Listerman's Northeast IPAs they did. It's in Yoda Potato. That was one.
But
Of
that's
It may-
delicious.
or no, is that in? It was in one of the new ones they did. It was either in Yoda Potato or it was in Miss E.
Either way, both of those are great. This is not.
Yeah, it may go back to, so in growing hops, this is a dwarf style, a dwarf variety, and so it's a shorter growing hop.
They prefer little hops.
So you can pick this, like you can grow this in small spaces and whatnot and pick it. It's supposed to have banana, pear, spice, those types of fruity aromas. Maybe a little grassiness in there and a little orange, possibly.
They clearly got a bad batch.
What's that?
They clearly got a bad batch or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this is not something that I would like in hops, you know? Um it's not a good flavor. Um so Azaka is another one of those that is kind of like more known and
Yeah.
it's a dwarf variety.
Mhm.
I think they should have better went with Azaka,
Oh yeah.
Everyone should deal with the Zaka.
which
For every-
actually has a cohumulone level of 38 to 45, which is higher. But still,
God.
I don't know. It's just
But
not
Zaka
good.
is delicious.
It is. This was not.
Maybe we got a bad batch of beer. That's the other.
I
That's
hope
possible.
so. I'd hate to think that these are really that bad, but God, and so the one that we're on right now,
It's
the
just like I
smell.
wanted to look at. It's like I wanted to look at Great Lakes going. I know you didn't mean it, baby.
Yeah, it smelled. I couldn't pinpoint it, but it smells like Hall's cough drops to me.
Yeah.
And now I'm finally tasting that too, and I'm just kind of done. Like I'm done with this beer.
No, I see that. We're starting to run down on time, so I'll
Okay.
give the kill out on what we were having at the fest. From Sweetwater, the final one we really waited for was Old Man Johnson's Farm, Dank Tank, but it was a kind of sour stout. It was just kind of there was a tartness to it. It wasn't a full soured stout. It was pretty good. It was different. Again, that was something different. You bring a sour stout when everyone else is doing just big barrel-aged chocolatey,
Yeah.
just all that. They're like, no, let's bring something that's got a little tartness in it, throw you off your game. So that was the last one we really waited for. And then it was just kind of running through on our way out. It was like, oh, there's no line at Braxton. So we stopped and just got Phil's of the Grater's ice cream. Took a hit of that on the way out. Even though I didn't really want it, just stopped by Three Floyds because there's no line. Grab a hit of Zombie Dust just because it's there.
Right.
Why pass it up? Even though I was mad.
You
And
wanted to protest, but then you're also like, but zombies.
but zombie.
Dust.
But it is zombie dust. I mean, it's not a bad beer.
And then we had to stop again on our way out at the Town Branch thing and get more of the hits of the coffee
Yes.
liqueur stuff. Just like, no, hit us with it. So yeah, that was the fest.
Oh, what did you have, Tyler? Said
Dank
he had
tank
different
beer.
dank tank beer. So Tyler, are you still in Florida? Sorry, that was your last check-in I saw.
Pulled porter.
Pulled
I
porter.
like that. I like the
Ooh.
phrasing.
I like that name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job.
So anyways, that sounds like
we did have more beer at my apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And we may have done an audio episode with the three of us, and we may have already been drunk at that point. So
Yeah.
I don't know how incoherent it is, but I'm betting it makes no sense.
I can't imagine that. I was really just trying to hold it together at that point.
There's some pictures of her laying in the floor, just like gone, and
Okay, Tyler came back yesterday.
so. Out of all the beers at the event, what was
Smoked
your favorite?
bacon porter.
I want to
It's whatever
smoke
Tyler's
bacon porter.
talking to me about right now.
Yeah.
Out of the whole event, it's either that mango thing or
the mango hop wheat.
mango hop.
Or the Bo and Luke for me.
or Maybe the Bo and Luke. Maybe that Willet.
The Willet was good, but the rum barrel aging thing really presents a whole different flavor. And
You know what?
the Bo and Luke was good.
You know what? The one I may actually give it to now that I think about it. That Imperial Cherry Goza.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Really?
true. That was so good too. That was so different.
And I didn't rank as high as some of the other ones, but if I think back on it, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I would get that again in a heartbeat.
See, for me, it was that chai IPA. That was
I didn't have that one. That was around the part where I'm like, I'm skipping some.
That
Yeah.
was definitely near the end.
all right. Speaking of near
So
the
on
end,
this list, on these four beers, kind of final thoughts.
Bad.
First beer was the best.
Holy Moses is good. I would drink that again. The rest of these, I would not.
Yep.
Consensus. It goes
Consensus.
Don't
Holy
buy.
Moses, then Lightkeeper, then Hop by Numbers, then Oats McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It goes Holy Moses, and then you throw the rest in the trash, and you put in some Edmund Fitzgerald's in there instead.
Yeah.
Then you get some good Great Lakes beer.
Then it's
Yeah,
just nothing but
sure.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
And the Conway.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
Gerald. All right.
All right. Well, let's wrap up then. So, if you want to, and we encourage you to, subscribe and get some great resources at haveadrinkshow.com. We encourage you to follow us at Have a Drink Show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And please rate the show on iTunes to help spread the word. Also, on YouTube's, go ahead and give us a thumbs up on the video, and that way we can kind of help to spread the word there.
Indeed.
And don't forget to tell us your favorite drink, ask a question, or just leave some general feedback. You can use the email address feedback@haveadrinkshow.com. You can also use the feedback page on the website.
All right, guys. Yeah, all joking and fun aside, remind everyone, please drink responsibly. Lift. That's what we did this past weekend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually remember the lift ride back, but we didn't drive, and good for us.
Oh, you didn't remember getting into that DeLorean and it taking off into the sky and us going back to 1955?
No, not at all. I genuinely don't remember the lift ride back. I was just trying to think of that because when he mentioned it, I was like, huh.
You were just sitting back there quietly.
Yeah.
She just woke up on a porch a little time later on the porch swing and thought, how'd I get here?
We dropped her
Basically,
off, and I guess she had
yeah.
to sit out the whole adventure, and he was right. She wouldn't remember a thing.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. All right.
It's all right. It's all right. My family's enemy fell into a pile of manure. We're good.
Well, good. That was a problem. All right, check us out in another couple of weeks for the next video episode. And remember to check out our educational-focused audio-only feed. Once again... Oh, sorry.
Let me also say, check out how cloudy the bottom of that beer got whenever you pour the dregs out.
Ugh.
So it's definitely in there. That's the first beer we had.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyways,
Wow.
I was going to say, no, that first one, I had a lot more sediment in mine, but I thought maybe I didn't clean my glass well enough.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, God, it was just a better beer.
It was. Yeah, no. I guess next week we'll have a regular audio episode after our long
We'll figure it
drunken
out.
Prohibition series.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
No
Hope
more
you guys
recording
enjoyed
again.
the Prohibition episodes.
Yeah.
but
all right.
Sorry I interrupted you.
You're fine. All right. So, once again, I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier.
I'm Christopher Walker.
And I'm Casey Price. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
A little bit of a post show. Stay.
Post show. Tyler, you can catch up.
Yes.
Be my angel of mercy.
Have a bathroom.